Welcome back. Our sponsors at Save the Michaels are championing addiction recovery in our community. And I'm joined now by Alex and Tanya with details on their programs and more details on what Save the Michaels is doing to help. So welcome, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. We've been talking a lot with Save the Michaels on these Mending Mondays about what you guys do as far as recovery options, but I'd love for you to talk about some of the barriers that people face when it comes to recovery that a lot of people might not think about or realize.
Okay, so I think one of the big issues is that there is a discrepancy systemically about how physical health is looked at and how mental health and addiction is looked at. And so we're functioning kind of on some old systems, and we've learned a lot over the last decade about what addiction is and how it should be treated, yet we're still functioning on those old systems. So one of the analogies that I like to give is this is a lifelong chronic disease that we suffer from, and it needs to be treated as such. And you don't give somebody 28 days of insulin and then say, good luck, right? Which is what happens in the field that we're in. Mm-hmm. People think 28 days of treatment is enough, and then they won't treat them anymore, either providers or insurance agencies. They won't provide the service that somebody needs. Now, Avi would say, if he was here, that the same systems, providers, insurance agencies that diagnosed Michael with Crohn's disease and then treated him with medication, which he eventually got addicted to, are the same systems that prevented him from getting treatment. And that's upsetting, mm-hmm. right? So we're here to kind of discuss these insurance barriers, these provider barriers that are in place because of systemic problems. We are advocates. Tanya and I are both peer recovery advocates, and so we're here to advocate for the individual who is struggling and to advocate for ourselves, to say we have these lifelong diseases and we need to be treated as such, and that doesn't mean just 28 days and that's it. It means ongoing treatment, ongoing visits to the doctors, ongoing medications, ongoing therapies. And so we work with this New York State agency that is looking to kind of smash some of those barriers mm-hmm. and identify what insurance barriers are in place and how can we fix them.
Right. That's what I love about Save the Michaels is a lot of the people involved have different aspects and have been touched by addiction in different ways in their lives. And so you've seen all the barriers and all of the things that people aren't thinking about, but also you're coming up with the solutions. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about what CHAMP means to Save the Michaels and how that's helping this area.
So CHAMP is an OASIS program. So it stands for Community Healthcare Access for Addiction and Mental Health Project. So what that means is it's sort of helping the community. So I help marry people that may not have access or don't know that they have access to health care or have been denied access. So what I actually do is I become their voice mm-hmm. and help them. And actually Save the Michaels represents 8 counties. So all 8 counties of Western New York we are advocates for. Mm-hmm. So I really want to get that word out. I think it's really important.
Yeah, Tanya is one of the only CHAMP representatives in this area. So we, while Save the Michaels we are CHAMP coordinators, right? But we're the only one in this area. So
that's a big job.
Yeah.
But this is. And do you want to explain why it's such an important thing when it comes to recovery? And I think you explained it in a big way, but when you're dealing with recovery and you're trying to fight for your mental health, trying to fight to battle such a hard thing to battle, you can't be thinking about, am I going to be able to go to a doctor and be charged an arm and a leg to pay for it, right? You can't be focused on those things when your mind and focus should be on your recovery process.
Yeah, it's the last thing you want to think about. And so we see it all the time where people are calling for treatment or placement in treatment and they don't have insurance or their insurance isn't going to cover it, or whatever the case may be. They may be what they consider high utilizers, right? So they've gone to treatment several times and their insurance is like, no, we're not sending you again. But this is the nature of the disease. Relapse is part of this disease. It's normal for this disease. And so for people to be denied because they have a condition just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
I'd like to put a personal aspect on it, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
One of the things that I recently, and I really feel a passion that's growing because I'm new at this, is like I actually got to walk through a phone call for someone that was waiting to go into treatment but didn't have insurance, and his Medicaid had lapsed, and I was able to walk through a phone call with him, and at the end of that phone call had insurance, and I was able to be a voice for him. And I remember Avi saying to me when he asked me to be a CHAMP representative for Save the Michaels, he was like, be a voice for the voiceless. Yeah. So I always think of that all the time. So it's really, I get goosebumps because it really means a lot to me that this gentleman was like, thank you so much. I feel so much better. Like I can now relax and know that I'm gonna go into treatment. So
When people are looking for help, no matter what time around it is, they shouldn't be denied and they shouldn't have to jump through hoops. So how can our viewers, if they could use a service like CHAMP, how can they get in touch with you and be part of the process?
So they can call Save the Michaels, and they can also utilize our website, and they can ask for myself, Tanya, or the CHAMP representative, whichever. I'm the same, one and the same. So.
Yeah.
Well, I imagine this is a big job, and a lot of people are going to probably be calling now. Are you looking for more people to help you and be more, with volunteers or advocates to be able to support more people?
Absolutely, and actually a colleague of mine is also doing the training, so there's more of us that are coming on board. It would be great to have a whole team, so, and volunteers always welcome.
Well, that's what you guys do. You kind of find all of these issues when it comes to the road of recovery, and you fix it, whether it's transportation, peer support, and now this CHAMPS project. It is really amazing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
so much.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing more about this. Viewers, if you would like to learn more about how our sponsors at Save the Michaels are mending our community, you can visit savethemichaels.org. Thanks again for coming in, ladies.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for having us.